The stars above Nu were beautiful that night. The colony world had been humanity's first real home beyond Earth, and after 50 years it had grown into something wonderful. 8 million people lived there now. They had built cities and farms and schools. Children played in parks under an orange sky. Old people sat on benches and watched the twin moons rise. Admiral Ho stood on his balcony and watched those moons. His wife, Min, was inside making dinner. His daughter, Bai, was doing her homework at the kitchen table. She was 12 years old and wanted to be a pilot like her father. He smiled when he thought about that. His communicator buzzed. He looked at it and frowned. It was a message from Earth Command marked urgent. "What is it?" Min called from inside. "Probably nothing," he said. "I will check it quickly." He opened the message. His blood went cold. "Warning, unknown fleet DETECTED. VORRA SIGNATURES confirmed. Heading toward New BUSAN. Estimated arrival, 47 MINUTES. Ho ran inside. "We need to go now." Min saw his face and did not ask questions. She grabbed Bai's hand. "Come, baby, we are going on a trip." "But my homework." "Leave it." They ran to the car. Ho drove fast toward the military base. His hands were shaking. They had never attacked a human world before. They had argued with humans in the Galactic Council many times. They did not like that humans were expanding so quickly. But war, this made no sense. His communicator buzzed again. This time it was Captain from the defense station. "Admiral, we have visual confirmation. 47 warships. They are not responding to our calls." "Get every ship in the air," Ho ordered. "Start the evacuation of the cities." "Sir, we only have 12 ships here. We cannot." "I know, just buy time. Help is coming from Earth." But he knew help was too far away. Earth was 3 days at maximum speed. Nu had only a small defense force because nobody thought anyone would attack them. The Galactic Council had rules against attacking colony worlds. They had signed those rules. They did not care about rules. The first bombs fell 20 minutes later. Ho was still driving when the sky turned white. The explosion threw his car off the road. When he woke up, his ears were ringing. He crawled out of the broken vehicle. "Min, Bai." He found them in the back seat. They were not moving. He checked for a pulse. Nothing. He checked again. Nothing. Ho held his wife and daughter in his arms as the city burned around him. He did not scream. He did not cry. Something inside him simply broke, and in its place, something cold and hard took shape. The attack lasted 6 hours. They destroyed every military target first, then moved to the cities. They did not try to land or take prisoners. They simply killed. When it was over, 2 million people were dead. Nu was a graveyard. Captain was one of the few survivors from the defense force. Her ship had been damaged early in the fight, and she had crashed in a forest far from the cities. She walked for 2 days before rescue teams found her. "What happened?" she asked when she woke up in the hospital ship. "The happened," said the medic. His voice was flat and tired. 2 million dead, maybe more, we are still counting." Closed her eyes. She had lost good friends in that fight. Lieutenant Dongwu, who always told bad jokes. Ensign Mi, who was supposed to get married next month. Sergeant Jun, who had taught her how to fly when she was just a recruit. All gone. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Council met to discuss the attack. Humanity demanded justice. They wanted the leaders arrested and tried for war crimes. They wanted payment for the families who had lost everything. They wanted a promise that this would never happen again. The council chamber was huge. Representatives from 200 species sat in floating platforms arranged in a circle. In the center was a speaking platform where anyone could present their case. Ambassador Park stood on that platform. He was an old man with white hair and kind eyes. He had spent his whole life working for peace between species. Now he had to speak about war. "The evidence is clear," he said. The Empire attacked a civilian colony without warning. They killed 2 million innocent people. They violated every law this council has created. We demand justice." The representative rose to speak. His name was Commander, and he was tall and covered in blue scales. His eyes were cold and showed no emotion. "The humans were building weapons on Nu said. "We have proof. This was not an attack. It was a defensive action." "That is a lie," Ambassador Park shouted. "Prove it," said calmly. And there was the problem. Nu was destroyed. All the records were gone. They could claim anything they wanted and no one could prove them wrong. The council voted. 23 species supported humanity. 47 supported the 130 stayed neutral. The motion for justice failed. Ambassador Park stood in shock. "You cannot be serious. 2 million people are dead." The council speaker, a being made of floating lights called, spoke in a voice like wind. "The council has made its decision. The matter is closed. We advise humanity to accept this outcome and move forward peacefully." "Peacefully?" Park's voice cracked. "They murdered our people." "Humanity is young," said. "You have been in the galaxy for only 100 years. The Empire has existed for 10,000 years. They are our allies. They are important to galactic trade and security. Sometimes, smaller species must accept difficult truths." The message was clear. Humanity did not matter enough. They were too small, too weak, too new. The council would not risk their relationship with over some dead humans. Captain watched the council meeting from her hospital bed. When she saw the vote, she threw her water glass at the screen. It shattered into 100 pieces. "Those cowards," she whispered. A message came through on her personal communicator. It was from Admiral Ho. He had recovered from his injuries, but everyone said he was different now. Colder, harder. His eyes looked empty, like he was already dead inside. The message was simple: "Come to Earth, we have work to do." Arrived on Earth 2 weeks later. She went to a building that did not officially exist, in a place that was not on any map. Inside, she found Admiral Ho waiting with a small group of officers. "The council has made their decision," Ho said. "Earth Command has ordered us to stand down. They want us to accept what happened and move on." "And will we?" asked. Ho looked at her with those empty eyes. "No, we will not. The politicians want peace, but there can be no peace without justice. If the council will not give us justice, then we will take it ourselves." "That could start a war with the whole galaxy," someone said. "Maybe," Ho admitted. "Or maybe the galaxy will learn that humanity is not something to ignore, that our people are not numbers to be sacrificed for convenience, that when you hurt us, we hurt back." He pressed a button and a hologram appeared. It showed the Empire, 12 military bases, hundreds of ships, there with its great cities and billions of citizens. "This is our target," Ho said. "Not their civilians, not their children. We are not monsters like them. We will hit their military, and we will hit them so hard that the galaxy will never forget what happens when you attack humanity." Looked at the hologram. Her heart was beating fast. This was madness. This was suicide. This was exactly what she wanted. "When do we start?" she asked. Ho almost smiled. It was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a man who had nothing left to lose. "We already have." 6 months passed after the attack on Nu. To the galaxy, it seemed like humanity had given up. Human ships stopped patrolling the borders. Human ambassadors stopped attending council meetings. Human traders pulled back from alien markets. The other species talked about it in their councils and meeting rooms. The humans were broken, they said. They had shown them their place. It was sad, perhaps, but that was how the galaxy worked. The strong survived. The weak learned to bow. Commander of the Empire was especially pleased. He received a promotion for his role in the new attack. Now he was Admiral, Commander of the Third Fleet. He gave many speeches about superiority, and how the galaxy should be grateful that his people had stopped the human expansion before it became a real threat. They were building weapons, he told anyone who would listen. They were planning to attack us. We simply acted first. We saved the galaxy from a dangerous enemy. Some species believed him. Most did not care either way. The humans were quiet now, and that was all that mattered. But the humans were not quiet because they were broken. They were quiet because they were planning. In a secret base deep under the Pacific Ocean, Commander stood in front of a massive holographic display. He was a tall man with broad shoulders and a scar running down his left cheek. Before noon, he had been in charge of Earth's deep space exploration program. Now he was in charge of something very different. "Status report," he said. His second officer, Lieutenant Bora, read from her tablet. "Construction is on schedule, sir. The Talon-class destroyers are completed. 48 ships, all hidden in the asteroid belt. The new stealth systems are working better than expected. Sensors cannot detect them at any range." "What about the main fleet?" "Admiral Ho reports that all 120 ships will be ready within the month. Crews are trained and motivated." Nodded. "And the special project?" Boras smiled slightly. "Engineer says it will be ready in 2 weeks. She wanted me to tell you that it is beautiful." Allowed himself a small laugh. Always called her weapons beautiful. She was strange that way. But she was also the weapons designer humanity had ever produced, and right now, she was creating something the galaxy had never seen. He walked through the underground base, checking on each department. The medical team was preparing supplies for the wounded they expected. The communications team was practicing how to jam enemy signals. The intelligence team was studying military patterns, learning their schedules and weaknesses. Everyone worked with quiet focus. There was no anger visible, no hatred, just cold, determined efficiency. They had a job to do, and they would do it perfectly. Stopped at the engineering section. Here, in a massive workshop, Engineer was working on her creation. She was a small woman with messy hair and oil stains on her face. She looked more like a student than a military engineer, but the machine in front of her was no student project. "Commander," she said without looking up, "come to check on my baby." "What is it exactly?" asked. He had read the reports, but the technical details were beyond him. Finally looked up. Her eyes were bright with excitement. "I call it the Silence. It is an electromagnetic pulse weapon, but not like anything that exists. Current EMP weapons affect a small area and recover quickly. The Silence affects an entire planet and recovery takes weeks. It does not kill. Not directly. It stops all electronic systems. Ships cannot fly. Weapons cannot fire. Life support fails, but slowly enough that people can escape to manual backups. No one dies from the pulse itself." She paused. "Unless they are in space when their ship stops working. And we can target it precisely." "Yes, I can hit military installations while leaving civilian areas alone. The targeting system is very accurate." She touched the machine gently, like it was a pet. "She is beautiful, no." Looked at the weapon. It was not beautiful to him. It was necessary, that was enough. Meanwhile, on the Admiral was enjoying his new status. He had a large mansion now, with servants and gardens and everything a successful military leader deserved. He threw parties where other admirals and politicians praised his wisdom. "The humans will never recover," he told his guests at one such party. "I broke them. I taught them fear." His aide, a young named Krill, approached with a tablet. "Admiral, there is a report from our spy network." "What is it?" "Earth has increased their mining operations in the asteroid belt. Their energy consumption has also gone up significantly." Waved his hand dismissively. "They are probably building new colonies, trying to replace what they lost. It does not matter. They know better than to challenge us now." Krill hesitated. "Should we investigate further, sir?" "No, I will not waste resources watching defeated enemies rebuild their farms. Let them have their rocks and their grief. They are no threat to us." Krill bowed and left. He thought his admiral was making a mistake, but he knew better than to argue. Admiral did not like officers who asked too many questions. Back on Earth, Admiral Ho received daily reports from his commanders. The fleet was nearly ready. The crews were trained. The weapons were tested. Everything was proceeding according to plan. But Ho did not feel satisfaction. He sat in his office late at night, looking at a photograph of his wife and daughter. Min was laughing in the picture. Bai was making a silly face. They had taken it on Bai's birthday, just 3 weeks before the attack. Captain knocked on his door. "Sir, you should sleep. We have a long day tomorrow." "I know," he said, but he did not move. Entered and sat across from him. She had known Ho for many years. They had served together on 3 different ships. She had watched him change after new. The warmth was gone from his eyes. The easy smile was gone from his face. He was like a machine now, focused only on one purpose. "Will this bring them back?" she asked quietly. Ho looked at her. For a moment, something human flickered in his eyes. "No, nothing will bring them back, but it will make sure no other human family suffers what mine suffered. It will teach the galaxy that our lives have value, that we are not pieces to be sacrificed in their political games." "And after, what will you do when this is over?" He put the photograph down. "I do not know. I have not thought that far ahead. I am not sure there is an after for me." Wanted to say something comforting, but she did not have the words. So she simply sat with him in silence until the sun came up. The final week of preparation arrived. The fleet assembled in the darkness behind Jupiter, hidden from all sensors. 120 warships, 48 stealth destroyers, and 3 carrier ships carrying the silence devices. Commander stood on the bridge of the flagship, the UES Remembrance. The name had been Ho's choice. Everything they did was for remembrance. "All ships report ready," Bora announced. "Communication systems locked down. No signals in or out until we reach our targets. They have no idea we are here." "None. Their patrols are following their regular routes. They have not changed any defensive positions in months." Allowed himself a grim smile. They were confident. They thought humans were weak and beaten. They had 6 months to prepare for what was coming, and they had done nothing. That arrogance would cost them everything. Admiral Ho's voice came over the fleet-wide channel. He spoke slowly and clearly, making sure every person on every ship heard every word. 6 months ago, they killed 2 million of our people. They killed my wife. They killed my daughter. They killed your friends and families and loved ones. And the galaxy told us to accept it, to move on, to forget. His voice grew harder. "We did not forget. We spent these 6 months preparing, waiting, planning, and now we are ready. Today, we show what happens when you attack humanity. Today, we show the galaxy that human lives matter. Today, we remind the universe why it should never have ignored our cries for justice. Remember remember our dead, and let us give them the justice they deserve." The channel closed. The fleet began to move. Admiral was sleeping peacefully in his mansion. He dreamed of glory and promotions and a long, comfortable life as a hero of the Empire. He had no idea that justice was coming for him, fast. The Empire had 12 major military bases spread across their territory. Each base held thousands of soldiers, hundreds of ships, and enough weapons to destroy a planet. Together, they formed an unbreakable shield around space. No enemy had ever attacked more than one at a time. The humans attacked all 12 at once. At exactly 600 Galactic Standard Time, human ships appeared from nowhere. They dropped out of hyperspace inside the defense perimeters, bypassing the early warning systems completely. They had never seen ships move so fast or hide so well. Station Commander Vex was drinking his morning tea when the alarm started screaming. He spilled the hot liquid on his scales as he rushed to the command center. "Report," he demanded. "Human ships, sir, 14 of them. They are inside our defensive ring." "Impossible. Our sensors should have detected them hours ago." "They did not, sir. The humans are using some kind of stealth technology we have never seen." Vex stared at the tactical display. 14 human ships against his base with 50 ships and orbital defense platforms. The numbers were on his side, but something felt wrong. The humans were not acting like they were outnumbered. They were moving with complete confidence. "All ships attack," Vex ordered. "Destroy them before they can escape." His ships launched from their docks, weapons powered up, missiles locked on targets. For a moment, it looked like the battle would be short and one-sided. Then the humans activated the silence. Every ship stopped moving. Every weapon went dead. Every light went dark. The electromagnetic pulse swept through the station like an invisible wave, killing every electronic system it touched. Ships drifted helplessly in space. Soldiers stumbled in darkness. The great military base became a tomb of silence. Similar scenes played out across all 12 bases. The humans hit them simultaneously, using the same tactic each time. Drop from hyperspace, deploy the silence, disable all defenses. They could not even call for help because their communication systems were dead. Captain led the attack on the 4th base, a massive station orbiting a gas giant. Her ship, the UES Justice, moved through the disabled fleet like a shark through sleeping fish. "Scan for life signs," she ordered. "I want to know how many people are on each ship." Lieutenant Guy worked his console. "The largest ship has 400 crew members. Life support is on backup power. They have about 6 hours before it fails completely. Send rescue shuttles. Get them off before they suffocate." "Sir," Guy looked confused. "We are rescuing the enemy." "We are rescuing people," said firmly. "They are soldiers who followed orders. They did not decide to attack new. We are not here to murder helpless prisoners." The human ships deployed rescue shuttles to every disabled vessel. They brought the crews to the surface of nearby moons or planets, gave them supplies and emergency beacons, and left them there safely. Not one soldier died during the attack on the bases. But the bases themselves were destroyed completely. Human ships methodically dismantled every military structure, every weapons depot, every ship dock. They left nothing that could be rebuilt quickly. The military had lost 12 bases in one morning without being able to fire a single shot in defense. Admiral received the news while eating breakfast. His aide, Krill, burst into the room with a look of pure terror on his face. "Admiral, we are under attack." Choked on his food. "What, where?" "Everywhere. All 12 forward bases have gone dark. Reports are coming in from survivors. Human ships appeared from nowhere and used some kind of weapon that disabled everything." "That is impossible," whispered. But the reports kept coming, and each one was worse than the last. He rushed to the military headquarters in the capital city. The building was in chaos. Officers were running everywhere, shouting into communicators that did not work, trying to contact bases that no longer existed. The supreme commander of the military, a massive old warrior named Admiral, stood in the center of the room. His scales had turned pale gray with age, but his eyes were still sharp. He had fought in wars for over a century. He had never seen anything like this. "Report," he demanded when arrived. "All 12 forward bases are destroyed, Supreme Commander. Our entire outer defense network is gone. The humans captured over 40,000 of our soldiers but did not kill them. They just let them go." "They let them go?" "Yes, sir. They rescued our people from disabled ships, gave them supplies, and left them on planets with emergency beacons. No executions, no torture, no prisoners of war." Was silent for a long moment. This made no sense. Any other species would have taken prisoners as bargaining chips. They would have killed at least some of the enemy to send a message. But the humans had shown mercy even while delivering a devastating attack. "What is their current position?" asked. "Unknown, sir. They disappeared after completing their attacks. Our remaining sensors cannot find them." "How is that possible? We have the best detection systems in the galaxy." "The humans have better ones now, sir." "Turn to a communication officer. Contact the Galactic Council. Request emergency assistance. Tell them the humans have broken the peace." The message went out, but the responses were slow and confusing. The council was in session discussing trade agreements. They did not seem to understand the urgency. By the time they realized what was happening, the situation had gotten much worse. Commander watched the reports come in from his position aboard the UES Remembrance. Every attack had succeeded. Every objective had been achieved. 0 friendly casualties. 0 enemy deaths. It was the most perfectly executed military operation in human history. "Phase 1 complete," he announced to Admiral Ho via secure channel. "All bases destroyed, ready for Phase 2. "Proceed," Ho replied. His voice was calm, almost peaceful. "Show them what we can do." The human fleet regrouped in deep space, hidden from sensors. They had demonstrated their capability. Now it was time to demonstrate their reach. Over the next 72 hours, human ships appeared at 27 different locations across space. They did not attack civilians. They did not bomb cities. They targeted military supply routes, communications relays, and defense platforms. Each attack was surgical, precise, and devastating. They tried to fight back. They sent their remaining fleets to hunt the human ships. But the humans were always one step ahead. They knew where the patrols would be before the patrols knew themselves. They struck where the defenses were weakest and disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. Captain led a raid on a supply convoy carrying weapons to the remaining military bases. Her small force of 6 ships intercepted 30 cargo vessels and their 12 escort warships. "Deploy the silence on the escorts only," she ordered. "Leave the cargo ships alone." The silence devices fired. The 12 warships went dark and drifted helplessly. The cargo ships, untouched, stopped moving and waited. "Broadcast a message to the convoy. Vessels, this is Captain of the United Earth Navy. Your escorts are disabled. Your weapons are useless, but we are not here to hurt you. We will take the military cargo and let you go. Do not resist and no one will be harmed." The cargo captains, mostly civilian contractors, surrendered immediately. They had heard stories of what happened to the military bases. The humans had destroyed everything but killed no one. Better to lose their cargo than their lives. Crew boarded the cargo ships and removed all weapons, ammunition, and military equipment. They left food, medical supplies, and personal belongings untouched. When they were done, they even repaired some damage their attack had caused to the cargo ship's navigation systems. "Why are you doing this?" one captain asked as crew prepared to leave his ship. "You could kill us all. Why show mercy?" Looked at him. She thought about her friends who died at Nu. She thought about the millions of civilians they had murdered. She thought about how easy it would be to pull the trigger and end this man's life. "Because we are not you," she said finally. "You showed us what your people do when they have power over the helpless. We are showing you what humans do. Remember that." She returned to her ship. The convoy was released. The cargo captain spread the story to everyone who would listen. The humans were terrifying, they said, not because they were cruel but because they were merciful. They could have killed everyone and chose not to. What kind of enemy does that? The panic was spreading. The military was in chaos. Half their fleet was destroyed or disabled. Their supply lines were cut. Their communications were unreliable, and the humans kept appearing and disappearing like ghosts. Emperor, the supreme ruler of the empire, called an emergency meeting of his advisors. "How is this possible?" he demanded. 6 months ago, these humans were a minor species. They had fewer ships than we have admirals. Now they are destroying our military like we are children playing at war." No one had an answer. Admiral, who had led the attack on Nu, stood in the corner trying to be invisible. His great victory was looking less great every day. The Emperor turned to him. "You said they were weak. You said they would accept defeat. You said they were no threat." "Your Majesty, I could not have predicted." "You could not predict that killing 2 million of their people might make them angry. You could not predict that they might want revenge." Fell silent, there was nothing he could say. Emperor contacted the Galactic Council and demanded immediate intervention. "The humans are attacking unprovoked. They are war criminals. The Council must stop them." The Council finally paid attention. An emergency session was called. Representatives from dozens of species gathered to discuss the crisis. But the humans had one more message to deliver before the talking began. It was called Prime. It was a beautiful planet with purple oceans and golden forests. 12 billion lived there, in cities that touched the clouds and farms that stretched across entire continents. It was the heart of their empire, protected by the most powerful defense network in the galaxy. 300 orbital platforms surrounded the planet. Each platform carried enough weapons to destroy a small moon. 200 warships patrolled the space around Prime at all times. They believed their home was untouchable. They were wrong. The human fleet appeared without warning, just as they had at the military bases. But this time, they did not attack immediately. They simply appeared, 170 ships arranged in perfect formation, and stopped. Admiral was in the main defense center when the alarm started. He rushed to the tactical display and felt his heart stop when he saw what was waiting. "How many ships?" he asked, though he could see the number clearly. 170, Supreme Commander, more than our defensive fleet." "Where did they come from? How did they get past our sensor network?" No one had an answer. The humans had appeared from nowhere like they were made of shadows. Their ships hung in space, silent and still, waiting for something. Then the broadcast began. Admiral Ho's face appeared on every screen on Prime, every military display, every civilian television, every personal communicator. His message played simultaneously across the entire planet. "People of the Empire," he said. His voice was calm and cold. 6 months ago, your military attacked our colony of Nu. They killed 2 million innocent people. They killed my wife. They killed my daughter. And when we asked for justice, your government laughed at us." He paused. On Prime, billions have watched in stunned silence. "We asked the Galactic Council for help. They told us to accept defeat. They told us we were too small to matter. They told us they were more important than human lives." Another pause. Behind Ho, the bridge of his ship was visible. Officers moved quietly at their stations, professional and focused. "We did not accept defeat. We spent 6 months preparing, and now your military is broken, your bases are destroyed, your fleets are scattered, yours is surrounded." The image changed to show the human fleet in perfect formation around Prime. The message was clear. We could destroy you whenever we want. But we are not here to kill your people. We are not monsters. We will not murder billions of innocent because your government murdered millions of innocent humans. We are better than that. The image changed again, showing maps of Prime with military installations highlighted in red. "We will disable your planetary defenses. We will destroy your military capabilities, but your cities will not be harmed. Your people will not be hurt. When this is over, your civilization will still exist. You will simply no longer have the power to hurt anyone else." Ho leaned forward, and his eyes seemed to burn with cold fire. "We asked for justice. You laughed. Now watch." The broadcast ended. The attack began. The human ships moved with perfect coordination. They targeted the orbital defense platforms first, using the silence weapons to disable them without explosions that might harm the planet below. One by one, the great weapons went dark. The defense fleet tried to respond. 200 warships launched toward the human formation, weapons blazing. But the humans had planned for this. Captain led a squadron of stealth destroyers that appeared behind the fleet and deployed more silence devices. Half the ships went dead in seconds. The others scattered in confusion, not sure where the attack was coming from. The humans picked them apart with surgical precision, disabling weapons and engines while leaving life support intact. "Target the weapons only," reminded her crew. "Anyone who fires on an escape pod or rescue shuttle answers to me personally." Her crew understood. They were here to win, not to murder. On the surface of Prime, the people watched in horror as their unbeatable defenses crumbled. The sky was full of disabled platforms drifting helplessly. Their mighty warships floated without power, their crews waiting to be rescued by the very enemy who had defeated them. Emperor watched from his palace. He had never felt fear like this before. The humans could destroy his planet whenever they wanted. They had the power and the reason, but instead, they were methodically dismantling only his military while leaving everything else untouched. This was worse than destruction, he realized. Destruction would make the into victims, martyrs. The galaxy might feel sorry for them. But this made them look weak, helpless. The humans were showing the entire galaxy that they could crush the Empire without even trying hard. "Contact the Galactic Council," he ordered. "Tell them to stop this. Tell them we surrender. Tell them anything." His communication officer looked up with a pale face. "Your Majesty, the humans are jamming all our long-range signals. We cannot contact anyone." "Then use a ship, send a courier." "Our ships are all disabled, Your Majesty. The humans are in complete control of our space." The Emperor sat down heavily on his throne. For the first time in his life, he understood what it felt like to be powerless. This was what humans had felt when the Council refused their request for justice. This was what the colonists on Nu had felt when the bombs started falling. The attack lasted 12 hours. When it was over, every orbital platform was disabled. Every warship was dead in space. Every military base on the planet's surface had lost power. The Empire's was completely defenseless. And not a single civilian had been harmed. Human rescue ships moved through the disabled fleet, just as they had done at the military bases. They collected stranded crews, provided medical care, and transported them safely to the planet's surface. They treated the enemy with dignity and respect, even while demonstrating total dominance. A young soldier named Tal was rescued from a disabled destroyer. She had been unconscious when her ship was hit, and she woke up in a human medical bay with human doctors checking her vital signs. "Where am I?" she asked, struggling to sit up. "You are safe," said a human medic with a gentle voice. Her name tag said, "Your ship lost power. We brought you here to make sure you were okay." "You saved me, but we are enemies." Smiled sadly. "You are not my enemy. You are just a soldier who was following orders. The people who gave those orders, the ones who decided to attack Nu, they are our enemy, not you." She helped Tal sit up and gave her water. "We will take you down to the surface soon. Your family is probably worried about you." Tal did not understand. This was not how war was supposed to work. When the conquered other species, they did not show mercy. They did not rescue enemy soldiers. They did not care about families. "Why?" she asked. "Why are you doing this?" Was quiet for a moment. "Because someone has to show the galaxy that there is a better way. Because revenge and cruelty only create more revenge and cruelty. Because we want justice, not genocide." She patted Tal's shoulder and moved on to the next patient. Tal thought about those words for a long time. After the defenses were disabled, Admiral Ho broadcast another message to the planet and to the wider galaxy. The is now defenseless. Their military is destroyed. Their empire has fallen. We could wipe them out completely. We could do to their cities what they did to Nu. No one could stop us." He paused, letting the words sink in. "We choose not to. We are not here to destroy the people. We are here to show that actions have consequences, that attacking innocent people has a cost, that humanity is not something to be ignored or dismissed. We demand justice, not revenge, not genocide, justice. The leaders who ordered the attack on Nu must face trial for war crimes. The government must pay reparations to the families of the dead, and the Galactic Council must ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. If these demands are met, we will withdraw. They will be allowed to rebuild their military over time. Life will return to normal. But if the Council refuses again, if they try to ignore us again, then we will remind them that humanity is no longer a species to be dismissed. We showed mercy today. Do not make us regret it." The broadcast ended. The galaxy watched in stunned silence. The Galactic Council was meeting when the broadcast played. The chamber fell completely silent. Representatives from 200 species stared at the screen, trying to understand what they had just witnessed. The representative, a new one appointed after Admiral's disgrace, stood up with trembling legs. "The Council must intervene. The humans have attacked us without provocation." The Council speaker made a sound like wind through leaves. "Without provocation. Commander, 6 months ago your people killed 2 million human civilians. You bombed their cities, murdered their children, and destroyed their colony. When humanity asked for justice, the Council dismissed their concerns. This response was entirely predictable to anyone who was paying attention. But they have destroyed our military. They have humiliated our empire. And yet not a single civilian has died. Not one. The humans could have glassed your. Instead, they disabled your military with surgical precision and rescued your soldiers from their disabled ships." Paused. "Tell me, Commander, when they have defeated enemies in the past, did you show such mercy?" The commander had no answer to that. Ambassador Park of Earth stepped forward. His face was tired but determined. "The humans are not asking for much. We want the people responsible for Nu to face justice. We want compensation for the families who lost everything. We want a guarantee that colony worlds will be protected from unprovoked attacks. These are reasonable demands." "And if we refuse?" asked a representative from a species that had previously supported the. Park looked at him calmly. "Then humanity will remain where it is, surrounding the, until the Council changes its mind. And perhaps we will look more closely at which species voted against us 6 months ago. We have very good memories." The implication was clear. Anyone who had supported the attack was now wondering if they might be next. The debate continued for hours, but the outcome was never really in doubt. The Council had seen what humanity could do. They had seen the precision, the technology, and the mercy. They had watched a young species dismantle an ancient empire in a matter of days without committing any atrocities. They were terrified, and terrified people tend to be very reasonable. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so quiet. 200 species sat in their floating platforms, barely moving, barely breathing. They were waiting for the vote that would decide the future of the galaxy. Ambassador Park stood in the center of the chamber. Behind him, a massive holographic display showed the human fleet still surrounding Prime. They remained defenseless, a silent reminder of what humanity could do when pushed too far. "The motion before this council is simple," Park said. His voice echoed through the chamber. "We demand that the military leaders who ordered the attack on Nu face trial for war crimes. We demand reparations for the families of the 2 million people who died. And we demand that the Council create new laws to protect colony worlds from unprovoked attacks." He paused and looked around the chamber. Every eye was on him. 6 months ago, this Council told humanity that we did not matter. that our lives were worth less than political convenience, that we should accept the murder of our people and move on quietly. His voice hardened. We did not accept, we will never accept, and today the galaxy has learned that humanity is not a species to be ignored. The representative stood. His name was Ambassador, and he had been appointed after the previous representative died of shame, or so the rumors said. The Council cannot allow this aggression to stand. The humans have invaded our space, destroyed our military, and surrounded our. This is conquest, not justice. Park turned to face him. Conquest. Ambassador, your empire still exists. Your cities are untouched. Your civilians are unharmed. 12 billion people woke up this morning in their own beds, in their own homes, in their own cities. Can the people of Nu say the same? Opened his mouth to respond, but found no words. They attacked a civilian colony without warning, Park continued. They killed 2 million innocent people. Men, women, children. Entire families wiped out in a single day. And when we asked for justice, this council laughed at us. He pointed at the holographic display. Now look at your ambassador. We could have done the same thing to you. We could have killed billions of your people. We chose not to. We chose mercy. We chose restraint. We chose to be better than you were. But make no mistake, Park said, and his voice dropped to a near whisper that somehow filled the entire chamber. We will not be merciful forever. If this council refuses our demands again, if you tell us once more that human lives do not matter, then we will show you what happens when humanity stops holding back. The chamber was completely silent. The council speaker spoke in a voice like wind and starlight. The motion has been presented. Representatives may now speak. For a long moment, no one moved. Then, slowly, a representative from a small trading species called the Rose to speak. We supported the humans 6 months ago, she said. We were outvoted. We were told that they were too important to punish. We were told that humans were too weak to matter. She looked around the chamber. I wonder how many of you feel differently now. Another representative stood, this one from a warrior species called the. They were known for their strength and their honor. The respect power, but we respect honor more. The humans have shown both. They had the power to destroy the completely. They chose to show mercy instead. That is the act of a truly strong people. More representatives spoke. Some supported the humans openly. Others expressed concerns about setting precedents. A few tried to defend but their arguments sounded hollow against the evidence of what had happened. Admiral, the architect of the new attack, had been arrested by his own government. He sat in a cell on Prime, waiting to learn his fate. The Empire had sacrificed him quickly, hoping that his punishment might satisfy human demands. It was not enough. We do not just want Admiral, Park said. We want everyone who approved the attack. We want everyone who gave the orders. We want the truth about why Nu was targeted and who was responsible. Emperor himself sent a message to the council. He appeared on the holographic display, looking older and more tired than anyone had ever seen him. The Empire accepts responsibility for the attack on Nu, he said. Each word seemed to cause him physical pain. We will surrender the military officers involved to face trial. We will pay reparations to the human families. We will support new laws to protect colony worlds. He paused, and for a moment, he looked almost human in his grief and shame. We were wrong. We thought humans were weak because they were young. We thought we could hurt them without consequences. We were wrong, and our arrogance has cost us everything. The message ended. The chamber remained silent. Spoke again. The vote will now proceed. All those in favor of the human motion. Platform after platform lit up green. The species that had never sided with humans before. Species that had been afraid to speak up 6 months ago. Even some of the former allies voted in favor. When the count was complete, the result was unprecedented. 193 votes in favor, 0 against, 7 abstentions. The motion passed unanimously. Park stood in the center of the chamber, watching the numbers flash on the display. He had spent his whole life working for peace. Now he had achieved justice through the threat of war. He was not sure how he felt about that. Captain watched the vote from her ship, still in position around Prime. When the results were announced, her crew cheered. They hugged each other and cried and laughed. Did not celebrate. She thought about all the people who had died on Nu, her friends, her colleagues, millions of civilians who never knew what was coming. They could not be brought back. No vote could change that. But maybe their deaths would mean something now. Maybe the galaxy had finally learned that human lives had value. Maybe no other species would suffer what Nu had suffered. Maybe that was enough. Admiral Ho received the news in his quarters aboard the UES Remembrance. He was alone, looking at the photograph of his wife and daughter. "We did it," he whispered to them. "We got justice. The galaxy finally listened." The photograph did not respond. It never would. Ho put it down carefully and walked to the bridge. His crew stood at attention when he entered. "The Council has voted in our favor," he announced. "The will face justice. We have achieved our objective." The crew waited. There was something in his voice that told them he was not finished. "Begin withdrawal procedures," Ho continued. "Leave thee and return to Earth. We are done here." Commander looked surprised. "Sir, should we not maintain some presence to ensure compliance?" "No, we made our point. Now we show the galaxy that we keep our word. When we said we would leave if our demands were met, we meant it." Ho almost smiled. "Besides, I think they will remember this day for a very long time. They do not need us to remind them." The fleet began to move. One by one, the human ships turned away from Prime and disappeared into hyperspace. Within hours, the sky above them was empty. But the memory of what had happened would never fade. In the months that followed, the war crimes trials proceeded. Admiral was found guilty and sentenced to life imprisonment. Several other officers received similar sentences. The government paid billions in reparations to the families of Nu's victims. New laws were created to protect colony worlds. Any species that attacked civilians would face immediate sanctions from the entire Council. Humanity was given a permanent seat on the Council's Security Committee. And every species in the galaxy remembered what had happened when they underestimated humans. Captain retired from military service and became a teacher at the Naval Academy. She taught young officers about strategy, about tactics, and about something even more important. "Power without mercy is just cruelty," she told her students. "And cruelty creates enemies, but power combined with mercy, that creates respect, that creates peace." She would point to the stars outside the classroom window. "The galaxy will always have species that want to hurt others. Our job is not just to defeat them. Our job is to show them a better way, to prove that strength and compassion can exist together." Her students listened. Many of them went on to become great officers who carried those lessons with them. Commander returned to his first love, deep space exploration. He led expeditions to discover new worlds, new species, and new possibilities for humanity's future. He never forgot the war, but he chose to focus on building rather than destroying. Ambassador Park continued his work for peace. He negotiated treaties, resolved disputes, and helped build bridges between species that had been enemies for centuries. He never stopped believing that the galaxy could be a better place. And Admiral Ho. He visited Nu one more time after the colony was rebuilt. He walked through the memorial that now stood where his house had been. He read the names carved into the stone. 2 million names, including Min and Bai. "I wish you could see this," he said to them. "I wish you could know that your deaths meant something, that the galaxy changed because of what happened here." He placed flowers at the base of the memorial and stood there for a long time, remembering. Then he went home. The stars above Nu were beautiful that night. The colony was smaller than before, but it was growing. New families had moved there. New children played in new parks. New dreams were being built on the ashes of the old. Humanity had learned something important from the tragedy. They had learned that the galaxy could be cruel and unfair. They had learned that justice sometimes had to be taken rather than given. They had learned that mercy was a choice, and that choosing it made them stronger, not weaker. But most importantly, they had learned that their lives mattered, that they were worth fighting for, that no species, no matter how ancient or powerful, had the right to treat them as if they were nothing. The galaxy had heard humanity's message loud and clear, and they would never forget it.